Okay, today what I want to explain to you about is that the reason why I bought this meter, why I picked it up, because I needed to test this radio, and so I can know exactly how many amps or volts or whatever I'm going to need for it. Because this is a General Lee. Of course, you can see the little symbol here, and it runs a little bit more power than the normal radio does. This runs about 50 watts right here. And so I needed something a little bit, a power supply a little bit bigger than the one I had before, because it was under drive and it wasn't just enough power to continue to run it. And I didn't want to do any damage to the radio, so I decided to go ahead and turn it off a little bit and then pick up another power supply. It has a Ranger mic on it, really nice mic. They're supposed to be good mics. But so if you decide to buy a CB radio, go look at these. These are really nice. Or I think there's Galaxy. There's of course the Ranger. There's a lot of different name brands. You're going to pay a little bit more money for them, but they're well worth it. I mean, from what they sell in the store to what these guys sell in shops, there's a big difference in them. And these radios will put out the power. And you can do some with a good antenna, because I run an Antroin 99, and putting out pretty good power with a decent antenna, you can do some talking on these. But the main thing was to set it up so I can have enough amps to run into this thing so I don't underdrive it. So I went on eBay, I looked on eBay, and I come up, I mean, they got a lot of different amps on there, and I came up with this one. I said, well, you know what, it fits my budget. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, now this is a megawatt. They call it a megawatt. That's what they call this. And you can see, basically, there's nothing here, just a plain box, metal box or aluminum box. There's your front. There's a fan right here, and then of course all your plug-ins for your wiring is all in the back. And when you get this, of course, they give you a diagram. We could say, like a manual diagram. You go through it, follow the diagram, and you'll have no problem hooking this up. I've seen a couple of them online, and this is my first one to try out. But they do make a knockoff of this, so be real careful. It doesn't say megawatt. They say don't buy it, okay? Because it can be, somebody else could be making them and they're not just as good. I don't know. That's what my understanding is. Okay, let's get in the back of it. This megawatt's S412. That's what it is. And the DC output on this thing is from a 10 to a 15, okay, volts. It has a 36 amp at 90% and a 30 amp at 100%. Now, I don't know how true that is unless I go through and test it. But right here, you can see there's a little white screw. And right beside there's a light that tells you it's on, and then right here is where you adjust it at. So if you're going to adjust this radio, you adjust it right here. Okay. And now that would adjust it from a 10 to a 15 amp, and I got around 13.7, 13.8 for my radio. Now that doesn't mean everybody should do that. That's just a little bit bigger radio, and it needs a little bit more ampage to run it. I wouldn't go higher than that. You're going to do damage on that radio. But you can look it up online and find out exactly what your radio is going to handle, because ham radios and things like that, I do believe, don't get me wrong on it, is around 13 amps. So it's just a little bit more because it's a little bit bigger radio. And then you can see here how it hooks up. And this over here is your house current, these three here. And it's a real simple, like I said, it shows you how to hook it up. And then I have three sections, three spots here for the black wire, and then I have three spots here for the red wire. So I can actually hook other things up. Okay, two more items I hook up on this. Maybe an amp or something I can hook up to this. There could be anything. I can hook up another radio if I want to hook up another radio. So that's really cool, because I understand people say, well, you don't just plug it in. Well, if you're really into these things, it doesn't matter if you plug them in. I like them wire them up like this than it is the plug-in, because I think they connect a little bit better than the plug-in would. Then the plastic thing goes down over here just for your safety, and it's got numbers on top of it. Nice little power supply, really nice. I really like it. I do. I really like this one. I'm hoping it's going to last, but they make these in a 50 amp, and they call them stackables. So you can take two 50s and put them together and make you 100 amp out of it. That's a lot of amperage. You know, if you're big into this, you know, radio, CB radios and other things, and that's not have to be CB radios. You know, it can be other than big. You know, you can, maybe you're like messing with car stereos. You know, there you go, right there. But you can always hook a different wire. You can wire it up car stereo where you have a plug. You know what I mean? So you can just plug it in if you want to do it that way. Let me go ahead and set this down. Let me shove it back here, and I'm going to show you. This is the meter that I bought. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and turn this on. I'll let you listen to it. And how you turn it on? It comes with a on the plug. It has a switch here that turns it on. Which I didn't care if it was on the casing or here. I mean, as long as it comes on and off, I wouldn't care if I just plugged it in and didn't even have that. It wouldn't matter to me as long as it came on. I mean, because I don't think those, you know, a switch or anything's that big of a deal. You see the little light? I don't know if you've seen that little light come on here. Let me show you. The little light comes on. Excuse me. That little light here comes on, but you can, I don't know if you can hear that or not. Let me turn it off so you can hear it. It's really quiet. I think it's quiet. You guys might not be able to hear it, but it's coming out pretty good. And if you wanted to cool this off, I'm for sure you can set another fan on the bottom of this. Maybe put little, you know, some little legs or something. Put another fan just to hover off the bottom of this. It will pull the heat away from this casing. If you thought it was getting hot, but I don't think it would. But I would say if you keep it off the table and put something underneath of it, just kept it off of it, you allow air to go up underneath of it. But I don't see it getting that hot. I'm only running this. So that was the reason why I bought this here. Now let me show you. See if I can get this to work. And what I need to know is for me to tune this in, because like I said, I'll end up tuning it in right here. I've already done it. I don't want to mess with it. But let's get this set up. And I'll touch this. See, let's just come over and touch this in here and this one. There you go. I have a 13.8. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's 13.8, and that's pretty decent for running into this CB radio. So that was the reason why I bought that. Now it has the amps. I did the voltage here, what volts, 13 volts, and then of course it has the amps. I'll be able to check this thing here later and find out how many amps this thing's putting out. So it's supposed to be 50 watts. So should be able to tell how many amps it's putting out. So it's pretty neat. And then also, like I said, there's a temperature thing on here where you can, you know, you can hook it up and see how hot this thing here is getting just by touching the casing. You know, if you know, with the other plug-in, just touch the casing. The casing gets hot, it'll tell you the temperature in it. So that's pretty cool. Same thing as the radio. If I'm running it too hot, I can always check the radio with this meter. So that was the reason why I bought that meter. But here we go. Let's just turn it on. I'll show you. And I have a Antron 99 put on this. It's up on a roof there, and that's not. I like it. It's pretty decent. I used to have a ground plane. I had a ground plane. It was a Starduster. And then I used to have a direct beam I built myself, and years ago, and I plan on doing a little bit more because I really like messing around for years since I was a kid. But like I said, if you ever get a chance and you know you want to buy a radio or a power supply, these are really nice here. I like it so far. I'm going to run a couple months, but if you ever get a chance to buy a radio, just spend a little extra money and pick you up something. You know, a little bit more expensive. The more money you're going to pay for it, guarantee the better the product you're going to get for sure. So, okay, that was the reason for buying the meter, and you can see, and so it's it's doing really well. It's going to help me out a little bit with this. And the new Megawatt power supply. Check them out on eBay. I don't work for this guy. I'm not making no money off of it, but I thought it was a really good deal. And so far I've had it for a couple days and I'm really happy with it. So, okay. Thanks for watching.